Okay, so I know Futurama, Hannah Montana, obviously. Yeah. Peep Show you guys talk about. I feel like you've told me about Peep Show.
We'll stick on the British shows then for now. Let's just go right to the
Let's go to Taskmaster.
Okay,
oh, sorry.
Peep Show, do Peep Show then Taskmaster.
Okay.
So Peep Show.
Yeah.
I will explain it poorly.
You've explained it to me before, I remember.
Better.
Yeah.
So imagine two British people whose life is just not going the way they wanted.
Right.
And instead of like actually doing anything about it, they just take it out on each other and just cause the most cringe situations for everyone around them and themselves.
So this is like narrative, right? Like this is fiction or?
It's fiction and it's...
But it's not like reality TV, right?
It is one of the most intentionally cringe shows in existence.
Right.
And if you love cringe humor, this is the king of it.
Right.
Like, there's no show that even comes close to this. I mean, I think the first episode opens up with Jeremy, who is one of the two main characters, with Jeremy and Mark. Mark is played by David Mitchell, who is a fantastic kind of... He's really great at playing these weaselly characters.
Yeah.
Like these kind of like weasel-looking characters that are very like... And he plays that amazingly. Yeah. He plays this kind of timid... but very like self-righteous guy who thinks he's way smarter than he is.
Kind of like Michael Cera like type, or
Michael Cera. If what would have to go wrong in Michael Cera life to be Mark?
That bad?
It's like imagine a actually somewhat intelligent 40-year-old man who just made all the wrong life decisions and is angry at the world for it.
Right.
And so he kind of thinks that he's owed more than he gets. And so he just takes it out on everyone else in a very British way.
Right.
And he just takes it out on Jeremy. But Jeremy is also just a giant buffoon.
Right.
He's an idiot.
Right.
And the first episode opens up, I believe, with Jeremy meets this girl who's wearing like a beanie. And he's like, oh, she's so cute. I want to have sex with her. And then I think they get together, finds out she has cancer, and then doesn't want to be with her anymore. And tries to kind of break it off in a really weird way. And it's just so cringe where he's trying to like, he said, because he doesn't fully understand, like he knows what cancer is because he's never met anyone with it. He's just really fucking awful at being able to even remotely understand how to talk to someone with cancer.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So he's like,
when did this come out?
It's like 2000, like fucking.
Okay, 2000. I was gonna say this very 2000s humor.
Yeah,
but no, this is like this could easily air today.
This
did not age poorly at all.
This is aged like perfectly because I still watch it to this day. Like,
right.
Me and Sydney still binge all of the seasons. Unfortunately, one of the bad things about British televisions, unlike American TV seasons, there's like 7 seasons of Peep Show, but like every season has 6 episodes. And that's 6 half-an-hour episodes as well.
But like, this is what I really love about some British TV shows. It really feels like it earns the 6 episodes, 30 minutes each, where it's like, there is not a single beat missed in this show.
Yeah.
Like, there is no episode that sucks.
Yeah.
There's no episode that isn't funny. And there's no episode where there isn't like 5 moments that isn't going to make you laugh out loud.
Yeah.
Right.
Just like, sometimes it's just almost every episode, I think, in Peep Show is an absolute banger.
It's so
And
good.
there are some lines that are just like stuck with me for like my entire life.
There's a completely unrelated plot line. I feel like this sums it up so well.
Yeah.
There's an episode where Jeremy is one of the characters, works in a gym, and Mark is going to this gym and doesn't really want to go to it, but is kind of being forced to. And Jeremy, why does Jeremy want to not go to the gym anymore? Why does he not want to work there? I can't remember why.
Because
I remember what he does.
I can't remember.
Oh.
I think he joined it to get with a girl or something like that.
And so he joins the gym to get with this attractive other worker there.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Mark doesn't want to go to the gym anymore.
Right.
So he makes up this elaborate excuse that one of the masseuses touched him.
Yeah.
And it's this whole awkward ordeal where he has to go to the office to the manager and awkwardly explain that he was touched while the guy is there, the masseuse.
Right.
It's just this stumbling, horrible, cringe-inducing thing where he's like, and he touched me. And the guy's like, what the fuck? I didn't touch you. And then to get fired because Jeremy doesn't want to work there anymore, he like shits in the pool and then tries to blame somebody else. It's this whole like... it goes from 0 to 100 every single episode where everything just accumulates and builds, and it's just fantastic.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's cringe humor at its best. It's British humor at its best.
If you want to feel like you're British for some reason, I don't know why you would, watch this TV show. Tell to a British person you've watched this show. They will love you.
Exactly. I mean, Sydney fucking loves this show. That's and that's how I knew that she could understand British humor. If you can get Peep Show, because I show Peep Show to my mum and dad, they're like, "Why is this?"
It's
funny?
too much for my parents as well.
Yeah.
It's too much cringe. It's a lot.
Yeah.
There is not a single episode where you won't be uncomfortable.
Yeah, the best way I can describe it is like just imagine two fucking assholes trying not to be assholes, but in the end of the day, they're just trying to get on with life. But they somehow find themselves in the worst fucking situations.
Right.
I want to rewatch it now. It's so good.
And like, it's not just even these two characters. There's so many like, if you've lived in England, you've like recognized who these people are, because there's like some, sometimes you have a show that hits a bit too close to home sometimes. Because there are some characters that you kind of recognize as a person that you've met in your life before in the UK.
Yeah.
Like one character that stands out to me is like Super Hands.
Oh my god!
I think Super Hands, who's just that guy who just brings drugs to everything, right? And he's just lost control of his life.
Right. Why is he called Superhand?
Because it just sounds.
No one knows.
No one knows.
But this guy's just insane, and like there's, it's also shot really interestingly. It's all POV.
Yeah. I think that's why it's called Peep Show.
Yeah. Because and they shoot the scenes multiple times, but like so the camera keeps swapping between the POVs in the scenes, so it's never an angle of like, okay, here's over the shoulder. It's like it's always POV.
That's interesting.
Which makes for some really good moments, because a lot of the times really awkward moments hit so hard because the person who sees you that the awkward thing happened looks directly at the camera and is looking at it like you did it.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's so
that's
good.
really interesting.
And it's just amazing. Like, and it's no other TV show is kind of shot like this to my knowledge.
I've
All
never heard of
POV, and it just works.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, watch Peep Show. It's amazing.
I know you guys like rave on about it a lot, so I definitely want to give it a go.
And the POV thing also makes it feel very uncomfortable because you're often in the face of characters a lot. And it
feels like you're there.
You kind of feel like, okay, this is a lot. And then obviously Taskmaster, which I think it's okay. So Taskmaster, let me explain it before I get into it. But I think the show is blowing up, and it's going to blow up a shit ton in the US as well more. I know a lot of people are recently coming up to me from the US like, have you heard of this thing called Taskmaster? I'm like, yes, it's very old in the UK.
Right.
I don't even know how you explain this. You get a bunch of comedians together.
Yeah, I actually wanted to do a Taskmaster for After Dark. Maybe
we definitely want to do this at some point. The format is just gold. It's such good.
So basically,
such good.
It's kind of like a game show, but not really. And now that you put Taskmaster on, I'm like, fuck. I have so many shows I should have put on my list that I completely forgot there was this genre. So
that happens a lot.
I wanted to put up a panel or / kind of thingy type kind of thing on.
So I think this is like a very British genre of TV show, which is why I completely forgot about it. Where it's kind of like this British panel / game show, right? But what you don't try to do in this game show is win, basically. They just try to be as entertaining as possible.
Yeah. Right.
So with Taskmaster, it's basically like a game show where you take a bunch of comedians on, and then you give them the same task, right? It could be anything, right? It could range from getting a marble out of a bottle that's been sealed and like full of jelly or some shit.
Right.
There's some really obscure like things that you're like, why would you do this? Like, there'll be like 30 socks. It'll be like, find the orange. In the sock, but all of them will have something different, and you're allowed to like sniff 3 or touch 2.
Right.
Yeah. They're given a very ambiguously worded task, right? Sometimes some tasks are more ambiguous than others, but it's up to the contestant to figure out what is the best way to do this task, right? And so
there's always like a life hack to solving it. Or?
No, there's not always a life hack.
So it'll be just a house, and you can do anything in the house with the challenge. So like for one challenge, it'll be like they'll be in a room, and they'll be like, hide 3 eggplants in the room. Okay. Whoever hides their eggplants the longest from the guy searching wins.
Yeah. Oh, right.
So it's like, some contestants hide the eggplant. Others smash up the eggplant and try to like squish it into something.
Yeah.
And some people start eating whole eggplants. It's like the rules are always set so ambiguous where any interpretation is correct, and it's up to the Taskmaster to decide if somebody deserves the point based on because maybe somebody did something. It's a little too cheeky, and the Taskmaster, who's played by Greg Davis, who's amazing, will be like, no, I don't like that.
Yeah, that's why it's like perfect for Trash Taste, because we can't follow the rules for shit.
Yeah, so the rules are ambiguous,
Sure.
and then you never follow them, and then the guy in charge just changes his mind.
Yeah.
So that's the point, right? I'm sure a lot of people will be like, I can't believe he lost this task because he didn't follow the rules correctly. Well,
Right.
that's not really the point of Taskmaster. The point of Taskmaster is just to see the funny ways that different people
People can get creative.
Different people approach the same task.
Right. Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah. And you can go as out of the box as you want. The only important thing is you gotta. It's
funny.
kind of like you kind of gotta like try to not to take the piss, but also take the piss as well, right? So
Right.
I remember one task I remember recently was there was this switch in this room, and the task was figure out what this switch does. Right.
Okay.
And so what happens is like 9 people out of 10, they start flipping on the switch, running out, looking at every light in the house, looking at every appliance in the house, seeing if anything's changed, run back in and like flip the switch off. And then they repeat this process, right? Until they finally figure out that the switch rotates a statue or something. That's what the switch did.
Yeah.
One guy just cut the power to the switch, right? And was just like, oh, the switch does nothing. Because it has no power. Boom, task done. And
Oh wow.
so that's the kind of like thinking outside the box because it
Yeah.
didn't necessarily because he's technically right.
Yeah.
In that the Twitch does nothing in that moment because it
It's
doesn't
technically
have
not
power.
breaking the rules because there's no rules around.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
It's very
interesting.
loose rules.
Yeah,
It's
that's really
very
interesting.
loose rules.
One of the best things is that it's completely available on YouTube for free.
Yep.
You can watch all of it, nearly all of it, on YouTube for free.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
Very nice.
Because the clips, they have a clips channel, which is amazing, but you can just watch straight up the whole episodes.
Oh, cool.
And the best part is that it's structured in a way where every episode is its own self-contained thing.
Right.
In like a greater season. So it'll be the same comedians for the whole season and the points will rack up. But you can come in at any episode and enjoy an episode. Like there is nothing that requires you to watch the previous episode.
Right.
If you want to and you'll get more out of it, you can go 1, 2, 3, 4 up until the end, then you can see who the winner is.
Yeah.
So it's seasons, they have like 5 comedians and they change. Kind of it makes it a bit more consistent and makes it have a lot more rewatchability and more reasons to tune in every week. It's really good. Really, really good. And it's going to blow up in the US.
Highly recommend it. We'll probably do a Taskmaster special.
I think a lot. I know it's already popular in the US because they made a US version that sucked, as they always do.
Of course they
Yeah.
do.
But I think a lot more YouTubers and stuff will probably start doing some stuff like that.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
definitely.
it's going to happen. I
Yep.
think so.